transport? Yes, Sane, you are in transport committee?
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I promise on behalf of the committee that there shall be a response 1 week after the recess, Mr. Speaker.
No, the first week of end of recess, because you have 3 weeks to go.
Well guided, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, and make sure you deal with Eldoret to Chavakale, not Eldoret to Shamagogo. Osoro? Quickly, so that we go to
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 44.2c, I rise to request for a joint statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health and Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the cessation of the Bachelor of Science Oral Health at Mount Kenya University. Honorable Speaker, the Minister of Health, in a letter dated 15th December 2025, wrote to the Vice Chancellor directly from the Ministry of Health, the Vice Chancellor of Mount Kenya University, directing them to halt offering the Bachelor of Science Community Oral Health course and transition to Bachelor of Dental Surgery program, and to transition all students who are currently enrolled in the program and had completed the course to the dental surgery program. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for the joint statement from the Chairman or Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Health and the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. Why the Minister of Health is writing to the university to stop the program without following the due process and without reference to the Ministry of Education, that is one. Two, noting that the university in question is duly accredited to offer this course, is it in order for the Ministry of Health to direct that the program be transitioned to Bachelor of Dental Surgery program and cease to offer it under the Bachelor of Science Community Oral Health, noting that it seeks to enhance community oral health, Honorable Speaker, oral health awareness? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
So the chairs of Health and Education, when can you bring a response? Meli? You have the mic.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think if it is agreeable with my counterpart in health, we can be able to present the report in 2 weeks' time, because we need to get the two CSS and to get the regulators on both sides, and then we can be able to...
Can you bring a report next Thursday?
Next week, Thursday?
Yes. This is a very simple matter.
Yes, let me find out and then I'll bring it back.
Jaldeza, your chairman said that you are holding brief for him.
It and do as you guided.
Okay. Now we'll go to questions, and we have only one question. Honorable Yusuf Farah, question 002 of 2026. We have Majority Leader, your minister is in the House, the Honorable Ruku. Honorable Ruku, I directed that because of the widespread drought situation in the northern parts of Kenya, you anchor on this question to give the House and the country a comprehensive statement on the interventions you are taking in mitigating and ameliorating the situation out there that is claiming lives of livestock and causing misery to many pastoralist Kenyans. So Farah, can you read out your question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise to ask the following question to the Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Programs. The first question the questions are as follows. Provide the current status of drought in Turkana, Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo, Samburu counties, including the number of households affected. Number two, outline the measures taken to provide relief food and cash transfers and the funds allocated and dispersed for this purpose up to this period. Explain the mechanism in place to ensure transparency and accountability in relief distribution. Indicate whether the government intends to declare the drought a national disaster and the interventions planned to follow such a declaration. And lastly, state the long-term measures put in place by the ministry to mitigate effects of recurrent drought and build resilience in ASAL areas. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister, I believe this is your maiden appearance in this house since you crossed the Rubicon.
Yes.
You are welcome back to the house. You are directed to give precise and concise responses to the questions and the statement that I've directed you to give.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, honorable members of this august House, I wish to sincerely thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members of this esteemed House, for the opportunity to address the House on matters relating to the Ministry of Public Service, Human Capital Development and Special Program. Notably, Honorable Speaker, this marks my maiden appearance before the House to respond to the questions raised by the honorable members. May I now respond to question number 2 of 2026 raised by the honorable member for Wajir West. On 1, the current status of drought in Turkana, in Marsabit, in Mandera, Wajir, in Garissa, in Isiolo, and Samburu, including the number of households affected. Number 2, the measures taken to provide relief food and cash transfer and other funds allocated and dispersed for this purpose. Number 3, the mechanisms in place to ensure transparency and accountability in relief distribution. Number 4, whether the government intends to declare the drought a national disaster and the intervention plan to follow such declarations. And finally, number 5, the long-term measures put in place by the ministry to address the recurrent drought and build resilience in arid and semi-arid areas. Honorable Speaker, as outlined in the Executive Order number 1 of 2025, my ministry is mandated to coordinate disaster preparedness, response, and recovery efforts during crises such as floods, drought, fires, disease outbreaks, pandemics, as well as other national emergencies and geological disasters, to provide food and aid and other essential supplies to affected populations, among others. Honorable Speaker, the ministry is committed to ensure coordinated, timely, accountable, and humane response to disasters. This is in line with Article 43 of the Constitution, which guarantees every person the right to be free from hunger and to have adequate food for acceptable quality, accessible and adequate housing, and clean and safe water in adequate quantities. Honorable Speaker, Kenya is a climate vulnerable country that experienced drought, floods, landslide, and other climate-induced shocks, which have become more frequent, intense, and complex, with far-reaching implications for food security, livelihood, public health, and national cohesion. Historically, government responses to disaster were largely reactive, fragmented, and event-driven. However, successive national emergencies, most notably the 1997-1998 El Nino national emergency, El Nino, France, followed shortly thereafter by 1998 terrorist bombing of the United States Embassy in Nairobi laid bare the institutional and coordination gaps in national disaster management. Mr. Speaker, this event underscored the need for a central, permanent, and authoritative coordinating entity that manage disasters holistically from preparedness through response to recovery and resilience. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that the State Department for Special Program was established within the Office of the President, initially as the National Emergency Coordination Mechanism. Over time, State Department for Special Program has evolved in both scope and responsibility, reflecting the changing nature of disasters in Kenya. Today, it is domiciled in the Ministry of Public Service, Human Capital Development, and Special Program. It serves as the nerve center of government's disaster and humanitarian response architecture. Mr. Speaker, sir, the State Department for Special Program does not operate in isolation. Rather, it provides strategic coordination, policy leadership, and the operation oversight, working closely with the National Drought Management Authority, ministries, departments, and agencies, county government, humanitarian and development partners, as well as community-level disaster management structures. These evolution reflect a deliberate shift from ad hoc emergency relief to institutionalized disaster risk management. Mr. Speaker, sir, to answer the first question, that the status of the drought in Turkana, in Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo, Samburu, including the number of households affected. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have visited all these counties in the effort to manage the disaster which this country is facing. Kenya is experiencing worsening drought condition, driven by persistent hot and dry weather and compounded by below average rainfall across consecutive seasons. As a result, about 3.3 million people in ASAL counties are food insecure and in urgent need of food assistance. In addition, the drought has also affected 9 other non-ASAL counties, which include Nakuru, Elgeyo Marakwet, Kiambu, Machakos, Siaya, Omambe, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, and Migori. According to the analysis from Kenya Drought Early Warning System, Mandera, Wajir, Kware, and Kilifi counties are in the Aram phase. Garissa, Tana River, Isiolo, Marsabit, Kajiado, Kitui, Ramu, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, Turkana, and Baringo counties are in the alert phase. Embu, Narok, Laikipia, and West Pokot counties are in pre-alert phase. Nyeri, Makwiny, and Meru counties remain in the normal phase, though Meru is showing early warning signs. Honorable Speaker, for the record, I have in recent past visited most of these counties: Turkana, Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Isiolo, Samburu, Taita Taveta, Tana River, Kajiado, and several other counties, Mr. Speaker. Question number 2. The measures taken to provide relief food and cash transfers and the funds allocated and dispersed for this purpose. Honorable members, the government of Kenya has deployed a robust multi-sectoral emergency response to address the effect of drought. The National Treasury has so far allocated Kenya shilling 9 billion for drought interventions. Out of this amount, Kenya shilling 8.5 billion for emergency food assistance, while 500 million Kenya shilling for livestock feed to protect the pastoral livelihood. Honorable Speaker, on Monday, I was in Turkana County, where I signed a check amounting to 215 million towards this intervention as far as cash transfer is concerned. And I'm sure the members of Turkana, from Turkana County, and some of them I can see are here, they witnessed this function. Mr. Speaker, the relief food has been distributed to all affected counties based on the need identified following a comprehensive food and nutritional assessment conducted by the National Drought Management Authority and partners. To implement this, the National Drought Management Authority is implementing a cash transfer program in the said counties as follows. In Mandera, amount dispersed 179.3 million Kenya shilling to 22,000 households. In Wajir, 103.5 million Kenya shilling to 19,000 households. In Turkana, 215 million Kenya shilling to 39,000 households. In Marsabit, 110 million Kenya shilling to 20,000 households. In Garissa, 49 million Kenya shilling to 9,000 households. In Isiolo, 36.6 million Kenya shilling to 7,000 households. In Samburu, 44 million Kenya shilling to 8,000 households. In Tana River, 40 million Kenya shilling to 7,000 households. A total of about 778 million Kenya shilling to a total of 131,000 households. Honorable Speaker, to bread the approach recognizes that humanitarian response must protect life today while preserving livelihood for tomorrow. Question number 3. The mechanisms in place to ensure transparency and accountability in relief distribution. Honorable Speaker, my ministry recognizes the importance of public trust as we endeavor to provide assistance to vulnerable population. Accordingly, we have institutionalized strong transparency and accountability measures, which include 1, ensuring county steering groups and relief distribution committees are fully operational. I gazetted the county steering committee on a gazette dated 23rd January of the year 2025. Number 2, promoting active involvement of members of parliament, county county government, as well as county assemblies, and local leadership. Mr. Speaker, all the counties I've visited, I've ensured the members of this House are involved in my visit so that we can democratize these interventions as much as possible. Number 3, continuous monitoring and evaluation and field verification by the ministry. Number 4, mandatory returns and distribution report from the counties and sub-counties to the ministry. And finally, Mr. Speaker, as I've said, democratization of the interventions through involvement of the members of parliament, officials from the county assembly, as well as grassroots leadership. These measures ensure that relief assistance is traceable, auditable, and equitable. I have personally taken time to be involved in the relief distribution in most of sub-counties. Question number 4, whether the government intends to declare the drought a national disaster and the interventions plan to follow such declarations. Honorable Speaker, the declaration of a drought as a national disaster is governed by the National Disaster Risk Management Policy of 2017, which establishes objective criteria to guide such decisions. The declaration would be necessary only if the drought overwhelms the existing national response capacity, thus prompting the President to seek regional and international assistance to support the country in response and recovery. While the current drought is serious, it has not yet overwhelmed the existing structures, the existing national structures to warrant the President or to warrant the Cabinet Secretary responsible for special programs to advise the President to declare it as the national disaster. Nevertheless, Mr. Speaker, government maintains heightened vigilance, and once threshold is met, the necessary declarations and escalation of response will be undertaken without delay. Question number 5. The long-term measures put in place by the ministry to address the current drought and build resilience in arid and semi-arid areas. Honored members, the emergency relief alone cannot break the cycle of drought vulnerability. Accordingly, the government is investing in structural and long-term solutions, including 1, maintaining drought risk management and climate adaptation into national and county development frameworks, investing in water infrastructure, including dams, ponds, and boreholes. At the moment, Mr. Speaker, the NDMA and the National Youth Service have been instructed by the government to start desilting of most of the water ponds in counties which are affected by drought. Strengthening area warning systems and community preparedness, as well as integrating social protection programs to cushion the vulnerable household during shocks, as I mentioned on the issues to do with cash transfer. Mr. Speaker, as earlier stated, the State Department, in collaboration with the National Drought Management Authority, has continued to implement cash transfer program aimed at cushioning poor and vulnerable households. Most recently, an amount of Kenya shilling 778,536,900 shilling was dispersed to 133,101 households registered under the Hunger Safety Net program. The above measures, among others, will facilitate gradual shift from relief dependency to resilience building and self-reliance. Mr. Speaker, it's also worth noting that the government is in the process of setting up the National Infrastructure Fund, which this House, I'm sure, it is discussing or it is undergoing through the process of registration, so that the National Infrastructure Fund can help the nation in building resilience projects such as dams and irrigation schemes. Honorable Speaker, the ministry is facing challenges. Allow me to briefly highlight some of the challenges my ministry faces in fulfilling its mandate. These challenges include: 1, inadequate technical staffing in the ministry, particularly in the State Department for Special Programs. Number 2, delay in enactment of Disaster Risk Management Bill, which is a critical legal clarity and coordination of disaster in the country. In this regard, I beseech this Honorable House to consider fast-tracking the passage of the bill to address some of these challenges. Inadequate funding of the relief programs, resilience and recovery interventions, and inadequate infrastructure and office accommodation, particularly in the State Departments for Special Program. Addressing these challenges, Mr. Speaker, will require strong cooperation between the executive and the Parliament. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, in conclusion, the government remains unwavering in its commitment to protect lives, livelihood, national economic stability, and my ministry will continue to spearhead a coordinated, accountable, and forward-looking disaster management system, responsive to today's emergencies and prepared for tomorrow's risk. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, honorable members, for your continuing support. I look forward to a fruitful engagement. Mr. Speaker, allow me also to mention that my ministry, through the State Department for Public Service and Human Capital Development, National Youth Service is facing serious budgetary cuts. We requested 23 billion Kenyan shilling, Mr. Speaker, for the purposes of doubling the intake from 20,000 to 40,000 youth to be trained in paramilitary training, national vocation, as well as national service. This will not be possible if this House will allocate 10 billion Kenyan shilling to the National Youth Service. Mr. Speaker, sir, Huduma Kenya Secretariat, we have 59 Huduma centers in the Republic of Kenya, and we have more than 300 sub-counties in Kenya. We have 290 constituencies in Kenya. Therefore, many constituencies don't have Huduma centers. We have Huduma centers which have been built, but they are not operationalized. We requested a sum of 1.5 billion Kenya shilling to ensure that we get more Huduma centers across the country. But, Mr. Speaker, the allocation is not forthcoming. I beseech this House to allocate more money to National Youth Service for the purposes of doubling the intake, so that we can be able to get most of our young people in our villages to go for training in National Youth Service, as well as we can be able to ensure we have Huduma services closer to the Kenyan population across the constituency in the Republic of Kenya. And finally, sir, the ministry is also facing challenges in terms of unifying all the government services. Public service transformation, which requires additional funding to ensure we are capable as public servants to serve very agile population, which the mean age is 22 years. These are young people who requires government services at their comfort. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. God bless you. God bless Kenya. And may God bless the President of the Republic of Kenya. Thank you.
Now you take your seat. We'll take supplementary questions, starting with the questioner, Farah. We'll take those who want to ask. You record, then you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All of them.
I have 3 follow-up questions. First, I want to acknowledge and appreciate the CS and his peers for doing a wonderful job during this time, despite having challenges in terms of budget. Mr. Speaker, my question is, the Waziri talked about feeds, animal feeds. The animal feeds that he talked about has not yet been supplied in the various counties as per today. My question now is, how many tons of feeds were allocated in each and every county, or specifically each constituency, or even the beneficiaries of that feed, animal feeds? And what was the budget? Number 2, Mr. Speaker, the Waziri talked about saying that the drought cannot be declared emergency at the moment because it has not overwhelmed the government. My question is, how do we measure the loss that the people in northern and asal areas undergo each and every drought season? Millions of animals, billions of animals are being lost every single drought, including this one. What measures do government take or have to see or declare this drought as an emergency? To me, where I stand, Mr. Speaker, the drought has, as this Wazir has already explained, several counties are at alarm stage. Others are at emergency stage. What happens, or are we waiting? What are we waiting for? Are we waiting when all the animals perish and everybody becomes poor, so that the government comes in and chips in and say it has overwhelmed us and we need extra resources? He has already said also, Mr. Speaker, he has already said he has a challenge of also funding. He has admitted, the Waziri admitted that there is shortage of funding to mitigate this drought. That clearly shows the government has no capacity to handle this drought alone. And it is the right time, Waziri and the drought management team, to consider and save these people who are suffering every time, losing billions of animals.
Thank you, Farah. You'll end there. The rest, the joyriders, one question each. I indulge Farah because he's the owner of the question. Honorable Kenan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the onset, allow me to thank the Minister and his two PSs for doing a wonderful job under very difficult circumstances. Mr. Speaker, this challenge has always been there. But I think it is the high time, before I ask my question, allow me to just state some historical facts. This season has been there with us since time immemorial. But Mr. Speaker, during the colonial time, we used to have livestock grazing zones. We used to have livestock holding grounds. We used to have livestock migratory routes. We used to have, you know, the whole thing, this natural disasters used to be there, but it used to be managed very well. Mr. Speaker, right now, people have been left on their own. As much as we appreciate, the Minister was in my concerns the other day, and I really appreciate because he did a wonderful job. He has also gone to different places. I remember the last Minister, actually, who did the same job that he has done was the Honorable Sharif Nasser, when he was the Minister in charge of the same department in the office of the President. Mr. Minister, we appreciate. But that is the theoretical part of it. What you need to do right now, and this is the question, Mr. Speaker, drought is a natural calamity. But we have the weather forecasting facility, which means these days is so accurate, so predictable, and we can use that as a basis to predict how this issue can be dealt with. Mr. Minister, as a government, for years, our communities have been reduced to depend on relief. And you know that's dehumanizing. As we speak today, so many people in our region are dying. I'll tell you this, you may not have been told. So many families have lost everything. Many school children are out of school. It's not just enough to say you are waiting for a report from the National Disaster Management Team. Isn't it the high time that you declare this? I understand the dynamics, but that's not enough. There's a bit of business, there's a bit of national interest, but there is nothing more important than the lives of our people. Can you consider requesting the government, led by His Excellency the President, to declare this a national disaster? Secondly,
only one, Kenan.
Okay. Waziri, there are countries that have faced similar challenges. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Israel. They sat down, looked at the different geographical locations of their country, and came up with prudent measures to deal with this. Isn't it the high time under your leadership to consider this so that this problem is dealt with once and for all? Thank you, Mr.
Sane, what is out of order?
Mr. Speaker, my point of order was in reference to Article 208, Sub-Article 1 of the Constitution, which provides for contingency funds. What is the rush for the declaration of an emergency when the Constitution stipulates that the government must be prepared upfront and avail financial resources to make sure that there is no life and livelihoods lost? It is something within our Constitution. What does it really mean to declare an emergency when contingency funding itself is empty and that constitutional clause is not fully implemented, rather, Mr. Speaker? Is it in order to declare an emergency when there is a constitutional mechanism?
Thank you, Honorable.
Minister, not all those you respond. Naomi Wako, one question each.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Waziri, thank you so much. I've gone to Marsabit with you several times, and thank you for the good work you keep doing together with your PSS. Distribution of food, I know, has been done and the government will continue doing, but for the livestock, we have not seen much. Then there is the component of water tracking. That is really pushing us because we are all using our personal money to help the people in northern Kenya. Tell us what you are doing on that. And as we are expecting rains now, normally when it rains, we experience flooding, that sweeps away the animals, sometimes even homes, and even some people lose their lives. Waziri, tell us the plans you have in place to also take care of the rains that are just about to come.
Rico?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, drought is a prolonged period where we don't have rain in our counties. Question number one, how long will you be providing food to these affected areas? Number two, on the constitution of county steering group, you are bringing confusion in bringing legislators into that particular steering committee. A case in hand is the one for Turkana County. It will bring total confusion, it will bring fights, and implementation of food relief in the counties. When you bring county assembly, you bring county government, you bring the members of parliament, in addition to the executive, it will bring total mess in the distribution of this food. Finally,
I said one at a time, Rico.
Thank you.
Now you say two, then finally. One only. Yes, Mulyungi. Please, you are joyriders. Ask one question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, relief food is never enough. It comes in piecemeal, and when it comes, it is distributed one day, and the families which receive the food, they cannot even eat it for more than 3 days, and they go back to suffering. What is the minister doing to ensure that the supplies food is a continuous process, especially in the poor affected counties like Kitui County? It's not only Northeastern. Even Kitui County is a neighbor to Northeastern, and we are equally affected. Animals are also dying.
Thank
you,
you,
Mr. Speaker.
Cynthia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to appreciate the Cabinet Secretary for giving us a response to this matter. And I must say, Honorable Speaker, that we must move from addressing and responding to crisis to being able to reduce the risk in terms of drought. To my question, Honorable Speaker, as you can clearly see, the food distribution can never be sustainable. My question is to the CS, what are you doing in regards to community preparedness so that every community can be knowing what is about to happen? When you come to my place right now, Honorable Speaker, everyone knows that the rains are here and we're supposed to plant coffee in April and everyone is getting ready. What is he doing to train and make sure that the community is properly aware of what is imminent so that they can prepare? What is he doing about the fodder banks? How many fodder banks does he have so that he can be able to save the animals and be able to save the livelihoods of the people that are facing drought? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Nabwin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank the CS for making a maiden trip to Turkana on Monday. And he came face to face with the challenges and the situation in Turkana. And one of them, of course, was, how that food can be facilitated to the interior because there is lack of fuel and vehicles to do that. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the CS, there are a number of pastoral communities that moved across the border. Like in my constituency that borders Ethiopia, we have a good number of pastoralists who moved across, and they are right inside Ethiopia. I want to find out from the CS, do you have the numbers of those pastoralists that moved to Ethiopia? And, like the reports coming from there, they are facing, hunger, because what they got to do inside Ethiopia was to graze their animals, because the situation there is good for the animals, but they cannot find and buy food. Two, they are also, the animals are like getting sick. Do we have plans to provide veterinary medicine to those animals that cross the border? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Double N.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Waziri Ruku for a job well done during this time of drought across many counties and regions. But over and above, I wish to request or ask from our CS whether there are any plans put in place to ensure that the livestock that is in need of animal feeds, whether there are plans to ensure that the government provides some animal feeds to the livestock, and also whether there are some plans to ensure that the livestock that is suffering in different regions, if the government can take the initiative to buy the livestock from the farmers and ensure that they sell on behalf of the people whose livestock is affected. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, I would wish to ask the CS whether there are any long-term plans to ensure that the arid and semi-arid regions, whether they can be able to have a budget to sink dams so that the issue of relief food is part of the past or the talk of the past, so that we can have water for irrigation for our farms and also for our domestic use, so that we don't have the issues of having no food, yet the government can be able to have some dams for irrigation and even for domestic use. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Deco.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and I also want to take this opportunity to thank the Minister for the elaborate response he has given on this issue. However, Honorable Speaker, our region, Northern Kenya, in my opinion, does not require any more relief foods. There is a potential in that region to provide food for not only for the region itself, but for the rest of the country. If enough resources are allocated to that region to put up infrastructure to produce food in that region for fodder and both human and animal feeds. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the Cabinet Secretary, what is the rationale of shipping out in trucks of hay from here all the way to Mandera, yet River Tana and River Dawa in Mandera and Garissa can be able to produce hay or fodder for that region. So in my opinion, the minister, and even now as we speak, Mr. Speaker, is that there is enough hay, enough fodder which have been harvested by farmers in Garissa County or Garissa Township in particular, that is ready to be, and the farmers are ready to sell this produce. And yet the ministry or the department is investing trucks of loads of feeds and carrying hay from as far as Naivasha all the way to Mandera. Thank you.
Sane, I'll give you the last one.
Mr. Speaker, drought is not like a hurricane. Neither is it a disaster which occurs within a short time lag. Drought is there to stay and is part and parcel of our seasonality. What preparedness does the ministry really put? In as much as I appreciate his response in terms of cash delivery and relief food, where is really preparedness in the context of our livelihood? Livestock. How many boreholes did they drill, say in Wajir North, to make sure that the livelihoods of the pastoralists are safeguarded? Mr. Speaker, why is it that fodder is imported, while in Wajir there are small-scale farmers that grow fodder and which can be sold, which can be bought from them? Why should they be imported? And what are the ecological consequences of importing grass from another part and take it to an asal? Did they really study the consequences? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, the indignation involved in queuing for relief food. The right to protection of dignity is a constitutional right. Must we, 63 years of independence, queue for relief food? Why should Kenyans be indignified to that extent? Thank you.
The last one I'll give to Basil.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Basil?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you to my brother, CS Ruku, for great work and great response to the questions asked. My question is, how is the ministry integrating drought response into the broader climate adaptation policy? And then what measures are in place to prevent issues of dependency, particularly on relief food? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Emase, since you are only two, the minister will respond.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Even in Teso, there are pockets of famine. There are people going without food. But having said that, Honorable Speaker, I just want to emphasize that distributing food to drought-affected areas does not solve the problem. It will never be sustainable. So I think the minister needs to come up with more innovative interventions and just probably do an audit, because there are a lot of programs. There's the Livestock Development Program. There is the African Development Bank Arid Land Projects. Do an audit and assess the impact. What is the impact of some and many other programs within the ASAL regions?
Thank you.
And come up with innovative means to address this problem, so that we are not talking about drought all the time. We know it is coming every year. So what are we doing about it? Come up with a way to sort the issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would like to appreciate the Minister, CS, for public service. Honorable Speaker, there are poverty-stricken areas could also be considered as artificial drought. And I have specific areas in Mgwen constituency, Honorable Speaker, where people cannot afford even a meal, and students don't even go to school because they cannot afford meals in their home. I had written a letter to the CS requesting for relief food for these specific areas. Can the minister carry out an assessment in those areas so that he can even provide such support in my constituency? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Minister, can you quickly respond to all those? Most of them are overlapping and cross-cutting.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you to the honorable members for the questions. Number one, about the animal feed. Mr. Speaker, I was in Turkana on Monday. We ensured there is animal feed, and the members from Turkana County, they can confirm this. Also, I can confirm to this House that animal feed has been delivered in Mandera County. I was in Tana River County, Mr. Speaker, in Bura constituency on Saturday last week, and I went to two places, Bangale and Cherewa, I think so. And I can confirm to this House that animal feed was delivered in those two points in Bura constituency. It is the distribution of animal feed is continuous and it is ongoing, as well as also not only food in terms of beans, maize, rice, but also fortified flour for children and mothers who are breastfeeding. The question of the budget, how much has been set aside for animal feed? We have the first batch of 500 million Kenyan shilling, and also we have a second batch of 500 million Kenyan shilling, which has not been, which is in the process of getting utilized. So the total budget for animal feed is 1 billion Kenyan shilling. The other question on how do we measure the loss? What has been, how do we measure the loss? Mr. Speaker, and how can we mitigate this? Mr. Speaker, the long-term strategy which I have put in place as through my ministry is that National Youth Service, starting this year, is going to start growing fodder for animals, because National Youth Service is under the Ministry of Public Service. And if you see the executive order, number 1 of 2025, says clearly that the State Department should work in cooperation with the National Youth Service in putting in place programs which can mitigate or can help in managing the disasters. And one of them is drought as a disaster. We agreed last week with the National Youth Service that they are not only going to be planting avocados, but also to ensure they are growing fodder, hay, and appropriate one, so that we can establish fodder banks or animal feed reserve across the country. So that, because we know after every 2 years, there is a cycle of drought. The challenges of funding, Mr. Speaker, it is not as far as provision of food and animal feed is concerned. The challenges of funding is the staffing of the State Department for special program. We need to employ about 66 staffs, and so far, the National Treasury has not given us that green light to proceed and employ the 66 staffs, which are needed in the State Department. The reason given is that we don't have enough resources to cater for that. Mr. Speaker, it is important to report that there is no death which has been reported across the country, in all counties, because of hunger. There is no death. I want to repeat, Mr. Speaker, the government has mechanism of establishing whether there is any death reported as a result, human death, as a result of hunger. There is no death that has been recorded so far because of hunger. In terms of the schools, government, through NACONEC, which is under the Ministry of Education, has provided enough resources to ensure school feeding program is continuous in all arid and semi-arid counties. Mr. Speaker, water tracking. I was in Mbura on Saturday, last week on Saturday. National Youth Service is providing water tracking in Tana River County. I flagged off water buses from National Youth Service to provide water tracking in Tana River. We have allocated water buses from National Youth Service in different counties. And we have also mobilized other regional bodies which have water buses to help in water tracking. As far as the flooding is concerned, Mr. Speaker, the ministry and the government is prepared to take care and address the issues of flooding. There are some flooding which has been reported in Migori County, and we are taking care of that. We have enough resources to take care of flooding. Mr. Speaker, also the question of how long will you be providing food? The government of Kenya is going to provide food as long as we have Kenyans who don't have food. As long as there is a Kenyan who does not have food, who is facing lack of food because of hunger, the government of Kenya is committed to ensure there is food provision. Mr. Speaker, just to elaborate on that, we have also been providing, government has also been providing food in urban areas, especially in Nairobi County. We have many slums. I have been in almost every constituency in Nairobi County, ensuring that we are giving food and other non-food items in Nairobi County. About confusion created, as mentioned by member from Turkana County. Mr. Speaker, the PMF Act, Regulation 1910, provides or gives the minister, gives me powers to gazette what we call county drought management committees. It is the law which provides the cabinet secretary powers to gazette committees, county drought management committees in 23 arid and semi-arid counties so that they can help in managing drought. It is a good process of democratization of this process.
Minister, you may have missed his point. His point was, are you able to depoliticize the distribution of food by weeding out politicians? Isn't that what you said? So that you let it be a government-led technocratic approach, so that politicians don't jump on the bandwagon to gain cheap political mileage at the expense of deserving wananchi. I think, Ariko, that was your question. I thought that's what Ariko said, that give to Ariko. I understood you that way.
Honorable Speaker, that's partly. What I was mentioning is that the CES stated very clearly, it wants the county assembly, members of parliament, and the executive to be involved in the distribution of this relief food, which I said it will bring total confusion.
That is what I have paraphrased, isn't it? Yes. That's what you said, and that's what I have paraphrased.
Mr. Speaker, the issues to do with accountability and transparency, before members of parliament have complained that the GAO team is selling the food, they don't know when the people they represent, when they are getting food. It has been a very thin line. Because also, Mr. Speaker, the members of the GAO, they are not also very, very comfortable when it comes to involving all the politicians in the process. But, Mr. Speaker, for there to be accountability, for there to be transparency, for people who are 50 kilometers away from where the food is being distributed, for there to be someone to say, we have another village 50 kilometers from here, they must also get food. We will need this process to be as accountable, transparent as possible. And therefore, involving people, involving local leadership. That's why I gazetted County Drought Management Committee, so that we can ensure it is not only politicians or GAO who are getting themselves involved in this process, but we have community leaders through County Drought Management Committee to get in this process so that every person who is affected by drought can get food.
One more issue you have not touched on, is, which I consider important, is the issue raised by Makwiny.
I'm not done, Mr. Speaker.
Oh, you have not done?
I'm not done.
Okay.
The other is about whether we know the number of animals who are across the border, animals as well as livestock as well as people across the border in Ethiopia. Mr. Speaker, it's not only Ethiopia, but also we have people in Uganda and South Sudan who are there with their livestock. We are in a process of getting the actual numbers, and I can provide this information, Mr. Speaker, by next week to this House, as far as how many people are in Ethiopia, how many people are in South Sudan, and how many people are in Uganda.
Minister, I think what you need to do in conjunction with the Minister of Foreign Affairs is to have a cross-border protocols with these countries, because our herdsmen go there, theirs also come here when they have drought. So what you need to do is have a situation where if Kenyans cross into Ethiopia, the Ethiopian government and the Kenyan government know who they are, how many animals they have, and provide them with services like veterinary services, protection. We also do the same for theirs when they come to Kenya. and Uganda. I think we have a committee that deals with Uganda and Kenya on those migrations with livestock. So if you can be able to liaise with foreign affairs, that will help our people, because we don't cease being responsible simply because I've crossed the border. They remain Kenyans.
Well, Ugandan, Mr. Speaker, I commit we will work closely with the Minister of Foreign Affairs to coordinate this. Mr. Speaker, as far as livestock uptake, we are coordinating with the Minister of Livestock through the Kenya Meat Commission to start the livestock uptake so that families may not lose their livelihood through losing their stock. Finally, shipping of hay from Naivasha all the way to Northeastern. Mr. Speaker, we, as a ministry, we are committed in buying hay in Ramu, in Wajir, and other parts of the country where we have hay. We have done that. We have bought hay in Tana River and in Ramu, as well as in Wajir. But the amount of hay which we need is millions of tons, Mr. Speaker. That's why we are mopping all the hay we can get from different counties. Also, about boreholes, as I said, Mr. Speaker, in my response, National Drought Management Authority has an allocation of 350 million, and part of that money is to rehabilitate the boreholes which are not working. How the ministry is integrating the broader aspect of climate change. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the act which constitutes National Drought Management Authority, from the first page to the last page talks about the climate change. And we are doing a lot as far as the climate change is concerned in terms of adaptation and mitigations, restoration of landscapes, and also in proper coordination with the Ministry of Environment and other institutions which are the Ministry of Environment and National Drought Management Authority to ensure what the ministry is doing is well targeted as far as climate change is concerned. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable members, we'll stop here. Perhaps, Honorable Ruku, as you go, something that no member has asked. We have drought in the north. We have plenty of food and rain in the west. What arrangements do you have as a ministry to be moving food from food secure areas to food insecure areas so that you support the farmers in those areas? Number two, we seem to have a misplaced notion in this country that food means maize and rice. We have plenty of food in the rain secure areas, in bananas, in potatoes, and other food crops, root crops, and other fruit crops. Would you consider with your team to also be supporting farmers in those rain secure areas by buying that food to take to less fortunate areas when we have this kind of situation, so that drought, you know, we say in every tragedy lies a silver lining, and that could be the silver lining for the farmers in rain secure areas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for the record, all the food which is being distributed at the moment, more than 90% come from within our borders. Mr. Speaker, I have instructed my technical team to come up with a framework for procurement which can incorporate all the food we are talking about, bananas, cassava. And Mr. Speaker, cassava is one of the staple food across Africa. And it should also be part of the framework.
65% of Africans live on cassava.
Exactly, Mr. Speaker.
If you don't know.
Exactly, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
So not only bananas, cassava, arrowroot, sweet potatoes, our potatoes from potato growing zone, that my technical team has been instructed to ensure Moving forward, we are going to have a framework, because at the moment we don't have a framework of the procurement as far as these other types of food we grow in our country can be part of the food which we'll be distributing. At the moment, it is maize, it is beans, it is rice, it is green grams and other legumes. But, Mr. Speaker, be assured we are going to include that so that it can be even cheaper for us as a nation, because it's quite a huge budget which the government is spending in taking care of this drought.
Dorothy, what is it? We are closing. We want to go to other business. Yes, Dorothy?
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. I don't intend to go back, but first allow me to congratulate the CS special programs for knowing this country within the shortest time possible. He has transversed in almost all the counties in this country. If every other CS would work like him, I'm sure we would be somewhere. My only concern, Speaker, I just wanted to indulge him in, could he consider, as he is considering working with the Ministry of Environment, to even involve the Ministry of Agriculture so that we can go educating our people in Asno areas and other areas how to plant how to plant climate resilient crops, crops that can be able to stand the test of drought, like cassava and other crops in that category. Thank you, Speaker.
Yes, Maclap. You guys, honorable members, come later and then you draw us back. Maclap? Give Maclap the mic.
Yeah.
I'm indulging you.
Thank you, Chairman. I was also dealing with your assignment that you assigned us as a committee.
Which chairman?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
It is because I came from a committee that was chaired by a chairman, so I'm sorry. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, in the state of this country, every time, especially in our regions that are ASAL, I think through his Ministry of Special Programs, there should be special programs of utilizing the natural waters, the dams that God has given to us in some of these areas to actually do irrigation so that we don't need to live in relief, because relief, Mr. Speaker, has a connotation of poverty, has a connotation of backwardness. So if we invest in, for example, like Baringo or Turkana, the Takwel irrigation, the Takwel Dam today, Mr. Speaker, is like a lake. And the soil is to not require anything called a fertilizer, including Lake Baringo. Even in my place, whenever there is rains, I've never known a price of a fertilizer. So the government, and through this special ministry, must also invest in special programs that will generate food for the people without being fed on relief for many years.
Thank you. Yes, Ondo.
Speaker, sorry, I came much earlier, but I was engaged, the Honorable Kaluma engaged me, gave me stories of US. You know, some of us, we rely on him to give us stories.
That is improper use of parliamentary time.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just want an assurance from the Cabinet Secretary for Special Programs. We have seen in my constituency, Funyula, very many occasions where relief food is being distributed, written on GOK. Yet, we do not know the source of that food. We don't know who authorizes its movement. So I just want to give us an assurance that when I saw a relief food written on GOK or Government of Kenya, I can assume it is safe and good for human consumption, because when there is an issue, I will be asked, you come from Nairobi, how come you didn't know of this food stuff? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Ruku, all those are just comments. I'll release you to go. Yes, Russell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and my apologies for coming late.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I have heard Honorable Ruku talking about water tracking, giving relief food. And I think in his final submission, he said it is not sustainable. And the solution is what you have said, that we must look at what is productive in every part of Kenya. We don't have to grow maize in northeastern. If you can grow enough in western, and you do cattle production in northeastern, and then you do exchange. So it is, today it is raining in Marsabit, and yet for the last 4 months it has been dry. So we are asking ourselves, what is it that the government is doing? Because with climate change, I think the predictable nature of climate is no longer there. So this ministry must begin to think on its feet. But so far, I think the minister is doing a good job. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, Jakapong, we want to end here. You are the very last. Let me see no other
Yes,
hand.
thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to commend the minister and the team. And from the presentation of the minister, Honorable Speaker, we will need to fast track the DRM bill, the disaster risk management bill, which is here at mediation stage. And then two, they have already good plans in terms of having what we are calling resources. They require resources for strategic food to be used in relief. And then again, the National Drought Emergency Fund to be resourced so that in case of serious problems, they are able to respond in good time rather than use mainly Article 223 to be able to respond to some of the challenges facing Kenyans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wandeto? Give Wandeto the mic. Honorable Wandeto. There's one next there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think I also want to thank the CS for the job well done in responding. Mr. Speaker, until yesterday, I was sitting in the Committee for Regional Development, which oversees some of the activities that we are discussing tonight. So I have an idea or two. But I think mine would be the duplication that we normally tend to see within government as far as drought mitigation and response is concerned. Mr. Speaker, we have something called the Northern Kenya Development Initiative. We have National Drought Management Authority. Even the ministries, you have the special programs looking at the relief, but we also have EAC and ASAL looking at the same issue. So I think mine is to ask the Cabinet Secretary, especially as they continue with the, sitting in Cabinet, to see how we can bring all these initiatives to do with the relief in one coordinated thing. Because if we were to add the donor initiatives, Mr. Speaker, we should not be talking about, food insecurity in northern Kenya. For the last 60 years, donors have been stepping over each other, trying to help northern Kenya. The government has poured trillions of shillings into northern Kenya, yet we do not seem to see any tangible effort. I do not know whether to echo the words of the former Deputy President to say maybe it's the leadership of northern Kenya that has failed, but that is not the debate for today, Mr. Speaker. What we probably want to see going forward is a more coordinated effort so that we can finally relieve our brothers and sisters of northern Kenya from this long enduring cycle of hunger and misery. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ruku, take all those as comments. I'm not inviting you to say anything. Take them as comments and leave the chamber. Well done for your maiden visit.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
As a house, we feel very proud that we donated you to the executive, and you have acquitted yourself very well. Keep the flag of this house flying out there, because you belong to us. Yes, and yes, carry out your contractual duties efficiently. You are free to leave. Next order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to assure Mheshimiwa, your request to be met will be done.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Have a good evening. Next order.
Order number 11, motion, report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2025.
Mover. Judge Best. Oh, it's the leader.
Yes.
Yes, leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2025, be amended by inserting the words subject to recommit of clauses 2, 8, 23, 26, 44, 54, 55, and the long title, and I request the Honorable George Murugara to second the motion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to second.
Honorable members, I'll now propose the question, which is that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2025 be amended by inserting the word subject to recommittal of clauses 2, 8, 23, 26, 44, 54, 55, and the long title. I'll now put the question, which is that the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Judges' Retirement Benefits Bill, National Assembly Bill number 27 of 2025 be amended by inserting the word subject to recommittal of clauses 2, 8, 23, 26, 44, 54, 55, and the long title. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next.
Order number 12, Committee of the Whole House.
Members be upstanding. Mayaka, pay attention to what's going on in the House.